All right, here's the 59 Belair. I've been trying to get this thing for a few years now. We haven't got it on the hoist yet. We're gonna let it unthaw and we'll get going through it. I know it's really rusty. Alrighty, so the Belair's all thawed out here, and I'm just getting reacquainted with this thing because okay.
Yeah. Nice.
All the valves look to be working. So stay tuned to see what happens with this car. All right, here's the 59 Belair. I've been trying to get this thing for a few years now, and the guy's finally ready to part with it. A little late in the season, but that's fine. I got rid of my C10, so I've got some money to flow here. Gonna put it into this thing. We'll get it home, get it on the hoist, see what we're working with. It's in pretty nice shape, as you can see. That's just the outside on the body. The big loss on this thing is, like most of these cars, it's got no floors left. Even the trunk's pretty damn shot. But the frame still looks good. A lot of the cross members still look good in here. And it's all complete. He's got some parts in the garage we're going to be going through. I think he said he's got a Continental kit and 348 for it. So we'll see what's in there. Yeah, I got a YouTube channel. I'm trying to get off the ground. Yeah,
oh, awesome.
Yeah, trying to get it off the ground, but no one watches. It's so tough to get it.
And again, I've got some other, like I probably have the cap for the horn cap.
Oh, okay.
I probably got that as well.
Well, excellent. I like that the dash is steel and not my Caddy was fabric, right? Cracks to shit, but this.
Oh, really?
This ain't cracked.
So yeah, they used to cover these with foam rubber.
Oh, okay.
But then you could peel the rubber off.
And they left that disgusting.
So this one came without any kind of foam rubber. That was an option.
Well, that's good because you don't have to clean any shit off.
Yeah. It's good to know those things aren't worth shit.
Yeah. If you ever need to hijack a car.
I mean, you figure it'd be some sort of carbon tempered steel.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, like a lock, right? Some locks you can't cut.
Yeah, exactly.
I was just gonna ask you, how long has this thing been sitting?
Well, my daughter's 26 now, so I bet you it's probably been here 18 to 20 years. 18,
20 years?
Yeah, I mean, it may have been in the backyard, but it...
You dragged it ahead, gotcha. Yeah. It ran when you parked it, you figured? Yeah. Well, I guess we'll find out. My trick is I'll fill it with diesel, you know, drain the oil, fill it right out with diesel, let it sit for a while, and then...
advertising and in magazines, and one of the statements was it was an aircraft carrier.
Oh yeah, I think I heard that term. Alrighty, so we got the 59 Belair in the shop, and what an ordeal that was. It usually is an ordeal moving anything in the winter that doesn't run, but we had 2 flat tires, so definitely didn't help the battle. I didn't have any spares. These wheels are shot, tires are shot, so they wouldn't take care. But we tried, and luckily we had the excavator that just made the world a hell of a lot easier. You know, we didn't do any damage to the car, I promise you. We had the tires in the right spots, and that's how you move these old cars. That's how these steel bumpers are for. So as you can tell, we don't even got it on the hoist yet. We're gonna let it unthaw, and we'll get going through it. I know it's really rusty. I'm finally having a look at the motor, and my guess is it's gonna be locked up just because, well, this is how it was when I found it, and who knows what could have gotten to the carb and whatever else. So I'll do the classic, fill it up with diesel, let it sit for a little bit. Unfortunately, there's no bolt on this harmonic balancer. This is the older style. This is a 283, so it's got like more of a pressed on style, so you can't put a bar on there and crank it over. Luckily it's a manual, so maybe we can drag it up and down the driveway. Probably not with the snow. Before all this melts and soaks the whole engine, I'm gonna blow off all the dry shit. There's a bunch of, you could tell it had squirrels in it at some point. Luckily I noticed that the choke was fully closed, so even though the air cleaner was off, you know, that's a pretty damn good seal, and maybe nothing got in. Maybe we're in the clear. So we'll blow this shit off and spray it down with Deep Creep. Like I said, I'm gonna fill it with diesel anyways, just to let it soak, flush it through. It's good to do, so. So we've got a pretty solid base of snow, which means we get to pull out my vintage Polaris snowmobile. And it's buried in the back of this, behind my Cuda and a few other things. We're gonna pull out Brett's Storm 800 triple as well. He needs to go through that thing a little bit. My sled's pretty much ready to go, but we're gonna pull the spark plugs off, put some fuel down the cylinders, because where the fuel tank is on this thing is way at the back of the sled. So takes a while for fuel to get from the back to the front, and I know for a fact it's right out of gas. But this is a 71 Polaris TX 295, and it's in pretty much all original shape. But to get that out, gotta play musical cars, get this shit out of the way, move the bike, and all right, so we got the sled pulled out. We got our 33-to-1 fuel here ready to go in it. Gonna pull the plugs out, get some fuel down the cylinders, and then Glennie, while I'm doing this, can you fill up the back there? Yeah. And then that'll essentially prime it, crank it over, and should fire first kick. So after driving it for a little bit, it cleared right up. Didn't even pull the plugs out. I don't know, some of these old motors are funky. You just gotta drive them for a bit, clear them out. Once the motor gets warm, then poof bang, and runs a lot better. But Brett's out back, so we're gonna see how he's doing pulling out his Storm. So the Belair is all thawed out here, and I'm just getting reacquainted with this thing because I haven't seen it in like 6 months. And then yesterday it was all full of snow, so it's tough to see what you're working with, but no surprises here. I've got that motor all sprayed up with penetrating fluid because even though it's been sitting for 20 years, I think that little 283 is going to run. So I'll pull the carb off, pull the distributor off, pull the plugs, check the cylinders, put a battery in it, and if it cranks, great. If not, so be it. I'll put another small block in it. This side was up against a fence with some trees on it, so I never really got a good look at this side. And look at the moss on this thing. Something you don't see often on a 59 Belair or any car like this, any wing car, and it's a real testament to how long it's been sitting. Not that it needs that because there's no floor. That's a testament in itself, but very cool to see. I'll probably wash it off eventually, but gonna leave it as long as I can for now. These tires were shot, and I remembered I bought these old bias ply tires earlier in the year, and I was like, I'll need them for something. So good deal on them. They got great tread. They just got some weather cracking, but perfect for a roller like this. So like I said, first things first, I'm gonna go through this motor, pull the carb, get the plugs out of there, fill them up with some deep creep or some penetrating oil, just so when I do crank it, there's some lubrication in there in the cylinders. Doesn't scuff it up too bad if anything's in there. So bad news on the little 283 already. 5 of the 8 cylinders looked great, but 3 of them, I'll pull the plugs out and they're looking a little something like this, which is not good, rusty. So what that means is water made its way in from the top of the motor down into the cylinders where the pistons are, sat in there, rusted it all to hell, and chances are it's going to be seized. Doesn't mean it's not going to run, it just means it's going to run poorly, but at this rate, doesn't matter. If it runs, I can pull it in and out of my shop, and that makes my life a lot easier. I have a few small blocks kicking around, so I could throw one in should I want, but we'll see if this thing runs first. I'm gonna let it sit with some stuff in the cylinders overnight. I'll have to throw a distributor on it if it does crank, and we'll go from there. All right, so I got the battery hooked up, and I'm about to crank this thing. I don't think it's gonna go. I think it's pretty damn stuck, but gotta try it, right? So here we go. No power. All right, so we're not getting power to the key. Not too sure why yet. I haven't looked into it, but I just ran a crocodile clip off the starter. I'm gonna just hit the starter a bit because as you can see by hand, like I can only do so much here. Usually you can put your hand on here, and if you got no plugs in it, you should be able to get a decent pull on it, but obviously not. So I figured with the starter, we'll tap it along, see what that does, and see if we can get anywhere with this. Go ahead. Poor starter. Seems like there's a better chance of moving off the quick touches instead of just holding it.
Gift exchanges.
That's neat.
You have to get one.
That's right.
Which one? Maybe this thing?
Yeah. So I'm just gonna try it. So you gotta just get used to it. Touch it once. You must have unhooked. Did you pull that wire pretty far out?
I don't think so.
Try it again. Okay. It's gonna do it like every 5th one. Okay, so it's gonna go and not catch it, but every 5th one, it's probably gonna catch it. Okay. So I'm gonna try and help it along while you do that.
Okay, watch your fingers.
Okay. Yep. you're doing good. Slower in between. Yeah.
With your handsies.
I know. Okay, remember, tap, 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 3, 2, 1. Oh. Oh, it's going.
Okay.
Okay, I would stand back because it's gonna pump a bunch of shit out. So maybe I'll
stand back.
I'll come hit it.
Okay.
Unless it gets stuck again. You'll see what I mean. There's a bunch of WD-40 in the cylinders. So.
Wait. I'm going over here. Hold, please. Hey,
nice.
It works.
Very good.
Again. Nice.
All the valves look to be working.
Yeah.
They're all working away?
Yeah, looks like it.
Wow. Nice.
Solid.
Thanks, babe.
You're welcome.
Nice. Honestly, I thought it was going to be super stuck. That's awesome. So this thing is probably going to run. Goodbye. All right, well. It actually cranks quite fine. I thought it'd get stuck in a few different places, but no, it seems to be doing a full revolution of the crank and not getting hung up, which is a miracle. All the valves are doing their thing, so that's good. Next step is I'm gonna pull that distributor off because there's no way it's gonna fire with that distributor. Have a look at this thing, it's just toast. So that'll come out. I actually found one online. We'll throw that in there. We'll see if the fuel pump works. So I'm also gonna be pulling off that carburetor, I guess, because well, it cranks, so that means in all reality it should fire. So coil, carb, distributor, plugs and wires, and this thing should go. I mean, I haven't actually figured out the wiring issue yet, but I reckon that should be something pretty simple. Alright, so I've got the distributor and the carb on the bench here, and both these pieces are in way nicer shape than I thought. Like, I thought this distributor was going to be toast, but no, turns out the cap did its job, and inside there's no corrosion, no pitting, just a little grimy. So that's good. I've got new points, new condenser, and a coil or a rotor for this thing. So I'll throw that on there, and the carburetor here, just at first glance, looks like it's in really nice shape. Like you saw, this flap was closed, so that kept a lot of water and debris from getting into there. But the big problem with these things is when water gets into here, goes down into the bowls, fills up the floats, fills up the rest of the carb with water, and ultimately that's probably what filled up the cylinders with water on this thing. So I'm glad this thing came unseized. It actually turns over quite nice because this carburetor right here is from that army truck, and I jumped the gun on that one. I bought that thing and I was like, I'll get it unseized, and rebuilt the carburetor on it, and well, it's still seized. So one of these days I'm gonna go out back there and pull start it and see if it'll break free. But for now, I'm gonna pull this carburetor apart just to see what I'm dealing with in there. as you can see, this carb is in phenomenal shape, which I was not expecting, but that's a nice surprise. So I'm not going to dig into it any further because I don't have a carb kit, and I managed to save this gasket and I was taking it off. So I'm going to clean it up best I can, throw it back together, throw it on, and go from there. And the distributor, well, like I said, it's in nice shape. Points are pretty nice on it, but I think I've got some new stuff kicking around, so I'll throw that on. But I'm gonna let this sit overnight before I throw it back together, and tomorrow morning we'll throw it on. Maybe I'll get some fuel in it, and who knows, maybe she'll fire. All right, so as you saw in the teardown video, this carb was in really nice shape. So I spent a little bit of time on it, cleaned it up, and I think it came out awesome. The distributor here, I thought was totally done for, but boy was I wrong. Like, this thing looks super nice. I ended up cleaning up the points. I'm running the original points because, you know, sometimes that older shit just works better than what Napa sells you. And I bought new plug wires, new plugs, some fuel set up there, and I bought a new distributor cap, but it came in 3 pieces. So we're just gonna run the original distributor cap and the original rotor. So no big deal. All that stuff was in really nice shape. So we're about to throw this stuff on here, and we should have a first start in like 20 years. So hopefully it goes well, and if it goes well, next step will be a radiator. And I think I've already tracked one down, but just a matter of pulling the trigger on it once I find out if it runs. So third time's a charm. I pulled that distributor out this morning, put new points, new condenser in it because we weren't getting spark yesterday. So now that's in there. I've got that coil hardwired so it's always lit up, and I've got it primed up here. All I've got is 33-to-1, and that's my little jerry can there, but whatever. We'll see if it fires and lubricates the cylinders a little bit anyways. So here we go, first time in 20 years, at least. Oh, it's firing shit out of the exhaust. Fuel or shit? I smell something. Make sure you got no fuel leaks. Trying to do something, don't know what. I'm gonna guess I've got the firing order mixed up, kind of sounds a little off. So, guess I'll go through that. All right, as you can see, the Belair is out of the shop. Unfortunately, not under its own power. I wasn't able to get that little small block running. I think I've got some compression issues. I haven't dug into it too much. I just don't have the time for this car at the moment. So I filled it up with diesel. Gonna let it sit for a few weeks while I catch up on a few other projects. And then we'll pull this one back into the shop and see if we can't get it running. Maybe we will rebuild this 283, or maybe I'll come across another one on the internet. It's almost easier that way. Throw it in and away we go. So stay tuned to see what happens with this car. And if you happen to know anyone who is really looking for a 59 Chevy Belair 2-door hardtop, send them my way because I may be interested in getting rid of this thing for the right price.